Hello, welcome to my shop. So today, I want to talk about the difference between a drill driver and an impact driver. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of things here. Got some drill bits and some screws. I'm going to show you the differences between a drill and an impact driver. First, I want to go over each tool. So an impact driver basically has a hammer and an anvil in here, and as you start, the fastener gets deeper and you need higher torque. The anvil goes back towards the motor and slips over the hammer. There's a spring in here that pushes the anvil forward. So that's why you get this sound. Drill drivers don't have that. They are direct power. They do have a clutch, however, so say we put it on clutch setting number 1. It will kind of make the sound that the impact driver makes. So if we turn it up to maybe 9, on this small screw, it won't make that sound. Most drill drivers have 2 or 3 speeds, and most impact drivers these days have a speed selection. This guy has 3, although some only have 2 and some have 4, and some also have self-tapping modes and automatic modes and stuff like that. So before I go to testing side by side, I'm just going to test the screws side by side. I can't test the drill bit side by side because I'm not holding on to a drill with a daredevil with one hand. So in the olden days, all impact drivers could really be used for were driving screws, because they have the hex collet, or whatever you call this thing, chuck or whatever you want to call it. And so in the olden days, that's all that was available as a hex. But now, and maybe spade bits. But they didn't have the power in the olden days to drive spade bits. But now there's a whole array, a whole pile of things you can get, like drill bits, brad point bits with hex shanks. You can get hole saws. You can even get an adapter chuck. It's been around for a while, but they're becoming more popular. It's basically the chuck on the drill with a hex shank that fits on the impact driver. Now there is a limit to what you can do with an impact driver, because eventually the hex shank could break. And also with like bigger bits, like you're just going to be impacting away, you'd rather use a drill for some bigger bits. So I'm going to show you a few things first. So like I said, there's the clutch. So say we want to drive this screw. So it does take practice to find the clutch setting that will work. I find that you can't really make it make the impacting sound like after maybe 5 or 7. So I'm going to do this one on 4 and see if it will make the impacting sound. Yeah, it does. So let's see. So 7. This is 10. It's making it higher this time. So it doesn't really make it on 15. Now say we use drill mode, it doesn't make the sound at all. So I'm going to use first speed this time. As you can see, it's got more torque, but it's not as fast. So I'm going to start with a 1/2 inch daredevil. first in the drill, and then I'll do the impact driver. And second speed, and drill mode for drill bit. So it does it pretty well. Now the impact driver. I'm doing this on third speed. As you can see, it's not quite as fast and it's a lot louder. Now for a 1-inch Bosch Daredevil. So, one thing about an impact driver is that you can be holding it at full arm's length with like a Daredevil and it will not try and turn. Whereas if you're trying to drill with a big bit at arm's length, one-handed, the drill could try and turn and twist your arm. That's one advantage of an impact driver. Now I'll do the drill with the 1-inch Daredevil. So I wouldn't say this drill could do much more than a 1-inch Daredevil. Maybe in first speed it could do more. So on first speed with this 1-inch Daredevil, I could feel it trying to turn my arm a lot more than the impact driver does. So now I'm gonna try like this 8mm brad point bit with a hex shank on the end. I'm gonna do the drill first. You don't really need a hex shank bit for a drill, but I want to make sure it's the same bit, because this is the only sharp one I have. And for these smaller bits, it's best to use speed 2. So now I'll try the impact driver. Now it shouldn't impact too much on this bit and make too much noise, but you never know. You can see it's much faster. Maybe if I drop it down to speed 2, might not burn, because it will get hot and could burn your material. So speed 2 might be the more ideal speed on this driver anyway for this bit. It's 2800 RPMs on speed 2. Let's see if it'll do it on speed 1. As I expected it wouldn't. So let's just see for fun if it will do a 4mm on speed 1. So yeah, it will do a 4mm on speed 1. And one thing not to confuse is that a screwdriver is not the same thing as an impact driver or a drill. A screwdriver is a single speed drill driver with a hex shank, and it doesn't have a drill mode. You can get drills with a hex collar, hex chuck, whatever, instead of a regular chuck, but that's still not the same as an a screwdriver. And hammer drills and drill drivers are not the same thing as well. I've never tried concrete drilling with an impact driver, but I don't think it would be very comfortable because of the fact that there's no hammer action unless you start impacting. So I'm going to try this number 10 countersink tapered bit, first in the impact driver. This is something I would use on speed 2, so I'm going to do both speeds to show you. As you can see, pretty fast. Pretty easy. This is speed 3. Now I'll try the drill. Most of the time I use impact driver for screwing, and I never put Daredevils in my drill. And I use my drill for drilling, although lately for smaller fasteners like this guy and this guy, I've started using my drill rather than my impact driver, especially when I'm trying to do finishing work. So that's when a screwdriver would come in handy. So it's still pretty fast with the drill. So I'm going to try this countersink for you now. There won't be much speed difference with this guy. Like, I use this one in my impact driver. Although I would say that it's probably better in the drill, but I only have one drill and I have two impact drivers. So the impact driver usually gets the job. So now I'm going to do speed comparison with this 4.5 by 50 wood screw. So let me just start the wood screws so I can do each tool with one hand. Now, I've done this test before and I've found that there's really no speed difference between the two tools. Like maybe bigger fasteners, like maybe this guy, it's better and safer to use the impact driver, and it's probably going to be faster because the drill you will have to use on speed 1, especially if you're going into hardwood like oak or something. Ready, set, go. The other thing is that you have to hold the drill straight on the screw, whereas the impact driver you can sort of be off because there's play in the chuck. So I'll do that again because I slipped on the drill. I'm going to do them in the other hand this time. Ready, set, go. So this time I didn't slip. The impact driver was faster. But if you're trying to do precise wood work, or if you're using sort of like this type of wood, like doing finishing stuff, or even if you're building IKEA furniture, drill is going to be better. So now I'm going to use a 5x80 wood screw. No, this is a 5x90. I have to go in on an angle. Actually, let's see. Just going to throw this on top for the moment, just so that I don't go into my table. This is a harder lumber, so let's see which guy does it faster, drill or impact driver. Ready, set, go. So basically the same time. The impact driver was a little faster because it sunk. So now, for the last thing, I'm going to use these, I think they're 5x40 lag bolts, and see which guy can do it faster. So for this you're going to need well, you can get sockets for the smaller ones with a hex shank, but I'm using a 1/4 inch adapter. From 1/4 inch hex to a 1/4 inch square. So I have to start. Actually, I'll drill a little tiny pilot hole just so that they go in better. Ready, set, go. Impact driver was slower because this head is further up. The drill is deeper. Let's do that. Drill a little pilot hole. Just start the screw off. And if one's deeper this time, it's the impact driver. Again, drill went deeper than impact driver. So I hope this helps you decide if you want to get a drill driver or an impact driver. Personally, I would say get both, because you can get a nice combo kit. You can get there's a lot of combo kits out there where you can get an impact driver and a drill. Although if you have both tools, you are going to need more than 2 batteries. So for screws, I normally use the impact driver, as well as lag bolts and daredevils. But for wood drilling, I use the drill. And also for smaller screws like these guys, or if you're doing precision work, or if you're trying to do very fine carpentry, or if you're assembling IKEA furniture or whatever, the drill is going to be better because this guy is very aggressive. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and or subscribe. I'll see you next time.